As a young widow, I vowed never to love again. Then a mysterious gentleman appeared at a ball, fixing me with a gaze that stirred a long-buried memory. He took my hand and whispered, "You once promised yourself to me, before they took you away." My breath caught. I had no memory of him. But when he showed me the ring I had supposedly given him years ago, I realized my past held a secret I had long forgotten. I'm 32 years old, and I live in Charleston, South Carolina. I was married once. My husband, Mark, died in a car crash 3 years ago. He was my high school sweetheart, my first serious boyfriend. We got married right after college. Everyone said we were perfect together. Maybe we were. Maybe that's just the story I told myself. Mark's death hit me like a train. It wasn't something I saw coming. One minute he was texting me that he'd pick up Thai food on the way home, and the next, I got a call from the hospital. He didn't make it. I remember dropping the phone. I remember screaming. I don't remember anything else about that day. After the funeral, I shut down. I didn't go on dates. I barely saw friends. I told myself I had my one great love, and that was it. I didn't want anyone else. I didn't trust life not to take them from me too. That's where I was until this past November, when everything changed. My best friend Sarah dragged me to a charity ball at the William Aiken House in downtown Charleston. It's one of those historic mansion-type places with old oak floors, chandeliers, and a kind of Southern Gothic charm. I didn't want to go, but she insisted. She said I needed to be around people again. I agreed because I was tired of arguing. I wore a plain black dress. I did my makeup in the car. I showed up and stood by the wall, sipping wine and avoiding eye contact. I didn't even make it past the entrance hall when I noticed someone watching me. He was leaning against a doorway near the staircase, just staring. He wasn't young, maybe mid to late 30s, tall, dressed in a tailored charcoal suit. His hair was dark with a little gray at the temples. What stood out were his eyes. Blue. Cold but familiar. And the way he looked at me, it was like he knew me. Not in a creepy way, but like he really knew me. Like we'd shared something once. He walked up to me slowly. Didn't smile. Didn't offer a drink. Just looked at me and said, "You once promised yourself to me, before they took you away." My hand tightened on the wine glass. I froze. The voice sounded familiar. His words didn't make sense. "I think you've mistaken me for someone else," I said. He shook his head. "No. Claire. You gave me something. You don't remember, but I do." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small velvet pouch. Inside was a silver ring. Thin band, small sapphire in the center. The second I saw it, something inside me turned. I couldn't place the feeling. Not quite fear, not quite sadness. Something heavier. "I don't know you," I said again, but softer this time. He whispered, "My name is Daniel." And just like that, Sarah appeared next to me. She grabbed my arm. "I've been looking everywhere for you," she said, cheerful and loud. I turned my head for a second, but when I looked back at Daniel, he was gone. Vanished into the crowd. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about him. His face, his voice, the ring. And something started to gnaw at me. A feeling I'd ignored most of my adult life. Like there were years of my life I couldn't remember. I always told myself I had a bad memory, or that my teenage years were just uneventful. But now I wasn't so sure. Magnolia Cemetery is where Mark is buried. It's old, quiet, full of trees draped in Spanish moss. I didn't know what to expect, but I went. Curiosity had swallowed my fear by that point. Daniel was already there when I arrived. Just standing, looking out over the water. "I was afraid you wouldn't come," he said. "I almost didn't," I admitted. "What is this?" He turned to me, and his voice changed. Lower. More serious. You were taken from me. Not by accident. Not by death. By force. I laughed, short and bitter. You make it sound like some kind of spy movie. He looked me dead in the eyes. Do you remember anything about your life before Mark? I started to say yes. Then I paused. My stomach dropped. Not really. Exactly, he said. Because your parents didn't want you to. They didn't want us together. They said I was trouble. They thought I'd ruin your life. That's ridiculous, I said, even though something about it made sense. They paid someone to erase me from your memory, he said quietly. You were 18. We were in love. We had plans. You gave me that ring. We were going to run away together. And then one night, you disappeared. My knees felt weak. I had to sit down on the stone bench near the tree. That can't be true. I tried to find you, he said. They moved you. Changed your phone number. Took down your social media. You showed up months later with Mark, acting like nothing had ever happened. Like I didn't exist. I stared at him. I don't remember any of that. I know. They made sure you wouldn't. The worst part? A part of me believed him. Not because it made sense, but because something in me recognized him. Deep down. In the places you don't let yourself look when life is quiet. I went home. I cried. I called my parents the next morning. I asked them directly, did you erase part of my memory? Did you do something to me when I was 18? There was silence on the line. Then my mom said, we did what we had to do. You were too young to see it clearly. He wasn't right for you. I hung up. I didn't tell them about Daniel. I didn't ask more questions. I didn't want lies. I needed to sort through the pieces on my own. So, where did I leave off? I found out that my parents did something to my memory, something permanent. Something dark. I met a man I once loved, Daniel, who claimed we had a future that was stolen from us. And I'd just started to believe him. The night everything started to unravel, again about 2 weeks after that meeting at Magnolia Cemetery, Daniel and I started spending more time together. It felt strange at first. Every moment was like trying to read a half-burned book. There were pages missing, sentences smudged, but parts of it still made sense. He knew things about me no one else did. Things I never told anyone, not even Mark. Like the scar under my knee from a fall in 8th grade. The fact that I can't sleep unless I hear rain sounds. Even the exact way I liked my coffee back in high school, black, no sugar, but just a splash of cream. It wasn't just his memory. It was the way I felt around him. Comfortable and terrified at the same time. Like being close to something I had once survived. Then, something happened. The phone call. It was late one night, maybe around 11:30 p.m. My phone rang. Unknown number. I never answer unknown numbers. But something told me to pick up. A woman's voice. Calm. Cold. She said, you're digging too deep. Some memories are better left buried. I froze. Who is this? Silence. Then she said, do you really think your husband died by accident? And hung up. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring into the dark, trying to make sense of what I'd just heard. It couldn't be true. Mark died in a car crash. It was raining. The police report said he lost control. That's it. End of story. Except now I wasn't sure. I went to the police department the next day and asked to see the crash file. The officer looked at me funny but handed it over. As I read through the report, a few things stood out. Mark's brakes failed. The car was serviced just 2 weeks before the crash. There was no follow-up investigation. I asked if there was any footage from nearby street cameras. The officer said there wasn't any. They were coincidentally down that day due to maintenance. I walked out of that station shaking. I called Daniel that night and told him everything. The phone call. The crash report. The missing footage. He went quiet. Then he said something that made my skin crawl. I think they got rid of him, because he got too close to the truth. What truth? I asked. That you were starting to remember. Even back then. You were having dreams. Flashbacks. Mark found some of your old journals. You were writing about me, even if you didn't know it was me. Maybe he confronted your parents. Maybe he tried to help you. I felt sick. If that was true, then Mark didn't just die. He was killed. And somehow, this was all connected to what they did to me. Another twist, but here's where it gets even more twisted. 3 nights later, I got another letter in my mailbox. No stamp. Just tucked inside. Inside was a photo. It was me, older, maybe in my early 20s, standing with Daniel, and a child. A little girl. It led me to an abandoned building on the edge of North Charleston. Boarded windows. Graffiti. Dust everywhere. But inside, in the center of the room, was a small wooden box. Inside the box? A birth certificate. Name, Isabel Claire Harper. Mother, Claire Harper. Father, Daniel W. Monroe. Date of birth, June 3, 2014. I was 21 in 2014. And that name, Isabel, I'd once told Mark that if we ever had a daughter, I'd want to name her that. But how the hell could I forget having a child? And if I had a daughter, where was she now? I confronted Daniel the next day. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, holding the photo in his face. He looked me dead in the eye and said, because I didn't want to lose you again. And I knew if I told you everything too fast, they'd come for you. Just like they came for her. I couldn't breathe. What do you mean, came for her? Where is she? He closed his eyes. They took her when you were still in the hospital. After she was born. You were drugged. You don't remember any of it. They told me she didn't survive. Daniel, I started, but he held up his hand. A week ago, someone contacted me. Said she's alive. Said they've been watching her. But they want something in return. My throat was dry. What do they want? He said, you. I don't even know what to think anymore. I don't know who they are. I don't know how deep this goes. My parents? Some secret group? Is this real or am I completely losing my mind? But what I do know is this, if I have a daughter out there, I will find her. And if these people did anything to her, or to Mark, they will pay. There's more. So much more. But I need to stop here for now. I'm meeting with someone tomorrow. Someone who says they worked at the facility that treated me after I disappeared at 18. If they're telling the truth, I might finally get answers. And if I don't post again soon, it means someone didn't want me to. She said it wasn't all sci-fi. No lasers. It was medication, hypnosis, psychological isolation, exposure therapy, sleep deprivation. Weeks or months of it. You'd forget your own birthday if they worked on you long enough. You were one of the more extreme cases, she said. Your parents paid a lot. You were in the program for 11 weeks. Why me? I asked. She hesitated. Then pulled out a document. A photo, me again, younger, sitting in a white room with no windows, IVs in my arm, staring into space. Her signature was at the bottom of the form, subject #112B, Harper, Claire. She slid another paper across the table. It was a visitor log. One name stood out, Mark Harper. Signed in 3 times. I stared at it, confused. Mark was my husband. I met him after this. She shook her head. No. He visited you during the program. He wasn't your boyfriend then. He was recruited. He was part of it. My stomach turned. No, Mark wouldn't do that. He loved me. She sighed. Sometimes love looks like control. I was shaking. You're saying my husband was involved in erasing my memory? In replacing it? Yes. I don't know why. But he was there. I walked out. Couldn't even finish the coffee. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. So now add that to the pile, my parents paid to erase Daniel from my life. I might have had a daughter. Mark might have helped with the memory program. And now he's dead, and someone whispered that his crash might not have been an accident. But it gets worse. When I got home from that meeting, I found a small box sitting on my kitchen table. No note. No return address. I live in a secured apartment building. No one should have been able to get in. Inside the box? A baby shoe. Worn. Pink. And a USB drive. The file on the USB was a video. A young girl, maybe 5 years old, sitting in a classroom. Drawing. Singing quietly to herself. She had dark hair. Blue eyes. And when the teacher said, "Isabel, can you show us your picture?" She looked up, smiled, and held up a crayon drawing of a woman in a black dress and a tall man in a suit. Daniel isn't who you think he is. He's not your victim. He's not your savior. He's the one who gave you up. I didn't want to believe it. But my head was already spinning. So I did something desperate. I stole his phone. He was in the shower. I know it's a violation, but I needed to know the truth. I needed to see if he was lying. In his recent calls, a number labeled Avery. I clicked it. Listened to the voicemail. And I swear to God, my blood ran cold. Daniel, you promised she wouldn't remember. You said the ring was just a symbol, not a trigger. Now she's unraveling. If you want to see the girl again, you know what you have to do. Don't make me call your father. His father. That's when I realized Daniel's last name isn't Monroe. It's Langford. Langford. Same name as the family that funds Langford Pharmaceuticals, the company that produces the drug Codexin. Codexin is used in memory therapy. It's banned in 4 countries. And it's connected to Project Halcyon, a secret trial that supposedly ended in 2012 after whistleblowers accused the program of experimenting on patients without consent. I confronted Daniel. He didn't deny it. He said, "I tried to save you. But I was part of it, too. My father made me help erase you. Then I fell in love with you. I thought if I gave them what they wanted, they'd let you go. But they wanted more. They wanted the child." I slapped him. I didn't know what else to do. He said, "They lied to all of us. I've been trying to undo it ever since. But you're not supposed to be alive, Claire. You were supposed to be a ghost. I don't even know who to believe anymore. Everyone lied. Everyone had a part. And my daughter? If she's really alive, what has she been told? They're still watching me. I feel it all the time now. I hear clicks on the phone. I see black SUVs parked outside that disappear when I step out. I'm afraid to sleep. But I'm not stopping. I'm planning something. I've got the address from the classroom in the video. I'm going there. If she's mine, I'm not leaving without her. Even if it means exposing everything. There's more. But I need time to sort it. If you don't hear from me in the next few days, send this to someone. Share it. Someone out there has to know the full truth. This is the final update. I don't know how else to say it, so I'll just go straight into it. Everything came crashing down 3 nights ago. The lies, the manipulations, the missing years, all of it finally came out. And it was worse than I could have imagined. I went to the address listed in the metadata of the video with the little girl. A quiet neighborhood in Atlanta. Not Charleston. A large brick home with a white fence and kids' toys in the yard. There was a car parked outside. Black SUV, tinted windows. Same kind I kept seeing near my place. I didn't knock. I waited. About an hour later, the front door opened, and out walked my mother. She was holding the hand of a little girl. Maybe 6 now. Dark hair. Blue eyes. The same ones that haunt my dreams. The same ones I saw in that crayon drawing. I don't remember getting out of the car. I don't remember running up the lawn. All I know is I yelled her name, Isabel. The girl froze. My mother turned and went pale. Claire, she said, almost like a curse. What are you doing here? I didn't answer her. I dropped to my knees in front of the child. My name is Claire, I told her, tears falling fast. I think I'm your mother. The girl tilted her head. My mommy's name is Sarah. I blinked. Who? And then Sarah walked out of the house. Not my best friend Sarah. A woman I'd never seen before. Probably mid-30s. Well-dressed. Calm face. Holding a phone in her hand. Call them, she said to my mom. She wasn't supposed to be here. Everything exploded at once. I screamed. Demanded the truth. My mom tried to pull me aside. Said I was confused, that I was relapsing, that the facility warned this could happen. I pushed her away. Don't lie to me anymore. I shouted. You stole my child. And that's when Daniel showed up. Not from the driveway. Not from behind me. But from inside the house. He stepped out calmly, holding Isabel's little backpack. Claire, I was going to tell you, he said. Tell me what? I screamed. That I gave her to them, he said, barely able to look me in the eye. I made a deal. Years ago. After you were taken. After they erased you. I didn't think we'd ever be together again. They said Isabel would be raised well. Safe. That you'd be better off not remembering. I was scared. I agreed. I fell to the ground. You let them erase me. You gave her away. And now you want what, forgiveness? I want to fix this, he said, stepping closer. But I stood up and screamed at him so loud even the neighbors came out. Get away from me. All of you. Sarah, the fake mom, tried to pull Isabel inside. She doesn't know you, she said gently. You're upsetting her. I turned to my mom. How long? How long have you kept her from me? She whispered, you weren't ready. You weren't stable. The doctors, no. Not the doctors. You. You made me forget. Daniel reached out. Claire, please. I slapped his hand away. You betrayed me for convenience. You wanted peace more than truth. There was yelling. My mom tried to spin it like I was unstable again. Daniel tried to defend me. I showed them the birth certificate, the video, everything I had. An officer took notes. Asked questions. Said it would go to family court. I didn't go back to Charleston that night. I stayed in a motel. I didn't speak to Daniel again. I haven't since. I don't know how long it'll take. Maybe months. Maybe years. But I'm going to fight. I owe Isabel that much. She deserves to know the truth. You spend your whole life trusting certain people. Believing in love, in family, in memory. And then you find out it was all a stage play. That they rewrote your life without your consent. Mark. I still don't know the full truth about him. Whether he really tried to help. Whether they took him out because he knew too much. But I miss him now in a way I can't describe. Because at least with him, I thought I was safe. I don't know who I am entirely. I've lost years, people, love, a child. I'm grieving memories I'll never get back. I'm learning how to rebuild myself without the lies. I don't forgive them. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I'm not broken anymore. I know what happened. And I'll never let anyone erase me again. I'm not hopeful. Not really. I'm not destroyed either. I'm somewhere in the middle. Raw. Awake. And ready. Thank you to everyone who read this, who believed me, who said the things I needed to hear. If you've ever doubted your own story, don't. Sometimes the truth isn't gone. It's just buried under years of silence. I'm digging it up, one day at a time.